And a reminder that the recording focuses only on me, so your anonymity is whatever I'm trying to say, is held anonymously. Okay. Good to see you all. With a wish for all beings to be free, free of the constriction and contraction of held thought patterns and belief systems, free of the automatic reactivity of learned and held emotional patterns, and free of distorted perceptions. I will always go for refuge to alive, vibrant, radiant, spacious awareness until awareness is ongoing, like the flow of a river. Enthused by wisdom and compassion, today in the presence of all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, of any lineage and time, or none, I generate the mind of full awakening for the benefit of all beings. As long as space remains, as long as beings remain, may I manifest in such a way to ease and dispel the miseries in the universe. I'd like to give everybody a chance to finish what they may be saying. Okay. And because we have a couple of new people, the last phrase of that refuge and bodhicitta intention that I do, the last phrase is personal. Part of it is from what the Dalai Lama says, but I believe he says that last part is as long as space remains, as long as beings remain, may I manifest in such a way to free all beings, something like that. In the world, that's the difference. I went for the universe because I thought that would be maybe create some adventures. You never know. So whatever your intention for the waveform that is you moving forward, that's what you would put in there. Okay. Let us go ahead and start with perhaps a more traditional, we'll see, where we call up by memory, or perhaps it arises in this moment when we've experienced what sometimes gets labeled as love, open-heartedness, open-mindedness. That kind of warmth, at least how I experience it, like a warm wave. We're going to call that up with maybe a memory of, what's that called? Whatever seems to have caused that to arise. But in the arising, when we can, in open awareness, Notice when it first arises, there is no attachment. It's actually no duality. We're the ones who attach it. Oh, to the stimulus, that's the word. To the stimulus that we believe caused it to arise. And we say, oh, I love that. But that is really just a stimulus. Could be anything. All are different. Could be grandkids. Could be a puppy or a kitten. Could be a hike in the woods. Could be music. A good Hallmark card gets me almost every time. Whenever that arises, we generally enjoy the feeling of it and we want to do something with it, like attach it and then grab onto that thing that we've attached it to. But if we just can rest there for a little while, that openness, go ahead and visualize the traditional symbol of open-hearted, well, actually enlightened, recognized enlightened mind, the symbol of a lotus, 1,000-petaled lotus, in this case made of light. And we use that memory or the arising of that warmth to nurture, to feed the lotus, which sits in our heart chakra, allowing the lotus to relax and open into its natural state. Almost all of us hold our heart somewhat closed in an effort to protect ourselves from being hurt. Not very successfully, usually, yes. So with this warmth, this wave, whatever experience reminds you, we allow that heart chakra, that lotus, to completely relax and open. And in the center of the lotus, we notice 6 petals of different colors. 6 petals made of light. And on each of those petals sits one of the seed syllables of the mantra, the sound, which for hundreds, if not thousands of years has been said as the sound of open-heartedness, open-mindedness. And please repeat after me if you haven't before, or even if you just want to. For the lung, it's called. We say this 3 times. Om, Ma, Ni, Pe, Me, Hung. Om, Mani, Pe, Me, Hung. Om, Mani, Pe, Me, Hung. If you have learned it with a different pronunciation, that's absolutely fine. It is suggested to keep repeating the mantra while we do the practice. If you have a mala and you care to use it, every time you finish saying the mantra 1 time, you move one of the beads. It's said that if you do this in your practice, that the mala will hold that open-hearted, loving energy. And when you need it, you can reach for your mala and rest into it yet again. And as we say the mantra, remembering that it is the sound of open-heartedness, open-mindedness, lack of grasping, lack of pushing away. As we say the mantra, the inner 6 petals start to turn clockwise in this tradition. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. If you say the mantra, it can be at any speed that is comfortable for you. When you're doing this practice on your own, you can sing manis anytime you feel like it. To the trees, to the birds, this present time in our world, perhaps offering it to the world. It is said that the mantra quiets cranky babies. Perhaps it would offer some relief to our world that is having so much conflict at the moment. Usually is, actually. So allow that sensation of the sound of the mantra to arise whenever it occurs to you. No limitations. As those 6 inner petals in this practice start to turn, the 6 lights, which represent all the possibilities of colors of light, start to blend together. And this happens organically. When all colors of light come together, they become a white light, not a spotlight sort of light, not fixed and bright, but alive, vibrant light, warm, never static, as though you can see the light rays, the light waves moving. You might even say sparkling. And as the 6 inner petals have turned to this white light, they become rays of that light, which reach and fill all the petals in the lotus until there are 1,000 rays of this brilliant, radiant, better word, luminous white light that radiate out into the universe with no limitation and touch 1,000 beings. No limitation of time. They can reach into the past, present, future, imaginary time. No limitation in space. As far as your imagination reaches, the rays of light can reach. No size limitation to the tiniest thing you can even imagine can be touched. Perhaps a cell in your body or all the cells in your body. To something so large that you cannot imagine it, therefore you cannot see it. The light rays can touch. To the trees, to the bugs, to the worms, to other human realm beings, hell realm beings, hungry ghost beings, animal beings, even asura beings, and God realm beings, where they too will return to samsara. How they go out from your heart lotus, will be different for all of us. I can't imagine 1,000 specific beings. I just let the light rays go out where they're needed. Perhaps you will have a group of people you'd like the light rays to touch. On a day when we can't even imagine feeling that open-hearted, open-minded joy, love, unnameable experience. It's okay to allow those 1,000 rays of light to go and touch all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, at least 1,000 of them. Because as those rays touch beings, not so necessary with realized Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, but since we're all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in the making, they can touch 1,000 realized, if you'd like, allowing their heart chakras, which are already open, to beam 1,000 rays of light, 1,000,000 rays of light out into the universe. Some of those beams coming back and filling your heart. 1,000 rays of light touching 1,000 beings, all of whose hearts open, lotuses open. 1,000 rays of light carrying the sound of the mantra, the vibration of the mantra, the sensation of that vibration touching all beings. Now we have 1,000,000 rays of light touching 1,000,000 beings, allowing their hearts to relax and open. 1,000,000,000 rays of light touching 1,000,000,000 beings. Some of those rays filling our heart yet again and again and again. Not with personalities, with the essence of open-hearted, open-minded, compassion, bodhicitta, present naturally in all of us when we can relax and open. And we can rest right here. Refuge. A refuge with the fancy name of Nirmanakaya. It does not matter what you name it. It's the essence of interconnectedness of all life, dancing with all life. Some of us may visualize this as like a web of interconnected light. And where there is connection, we may visualize a little node, which represents that form that we often think of as me, my individual self, independent individual self, and yet interacting always with all life. Some of us will hear more the sound, the music of the mantra. All the 1,000,000 beings interconnected with that sound of Om Mani Padme Hum. Some of us may more experience the vibration of sound, even as it comes up our body, out our mouths. The very feel sensation of that vibration, now interconnected with 1,000 beings. Again, not personalities, the true essence of all manifestation. It's quite a refuge. We may feel open and safe enough as we're practicing this together today, and as we're practicing on our own, to allow this interconnectedness to arise as it does. And on other days, we may wish for the blessing of some of the rays of light that we tried to send out. If we chose to send them to bodhisattvas and Buddhas, we may rest as those rays radiate out into the universe and touch 1,000 beings and onward, filling our heart again and again. When you are doing this yourself, you can rest in this refuge for as long as you have, as long as you wish. And as we continue today, 1,000 rays of light from the 1,000 beings touches 1,000 beings, allowing the growing of the interconnected waves of light, sound, vibration, until there are an infinite number of rays of light, touching an infinite number of beings. And there is no thing other than radiant, vibrant, alive light. Refuge. Refuge with the name Sambhogaka. We are not looking at that light. There is no thing other than that light. And we are that. The infinitude of light, the potential from which all manifestation arises. Anything and everything may arise. where omniscience arises. Not because there's an I that is omniscient, simply because there is no thing but light. If we're lucky enough to fall in completely, there may be an experience which won't go into words until we grab our form back and try to describe it to ourselves. Experience beyond words. An experience which clearly has awareness, is awareness, simply not self-focused or focused in any direction. Utter open awareness. Not noticed as that till we take our form back. It simply is. It's not an it. Every manifestation carries that spark of aliveness, awareness. Not all the same, although the spark is the same. We may or may not notice the space that this arises. No, not arises, permeates. Radiant light awareness, aliveness permeates every aspect of space. Sky space, is the very dance of this aliveness, radiance, potential, dancing in open sky spaciousness. Just words pointing, from which all manifestations arise, never separate from, never made of anything but this. Aliveness dancing in space creates manifestation. The three kayas are utterly interdependent. One cannot exist by itself. You could not have arisen without the spaciousness and the spark, the radiance of aliveness. We are that. We just forget. When our form dissolves, simply goes home to open radiance. No words can touch, really. Beyond form, which we are so focused on, most of us, be it thoughts, feelings, perceptions, money, other beings, that we think of as separate, we think of as not connected. We think of how we can get everything to be the way we want it to be, not recognizing this interactive, interconnected dependence on all form with each other, made of no thing but luminous, spacious awareness. Traditionally, and I leave your choice here, just mute me if you want to rest right where you are, or pay no attention. Traditionally in the practice, we will invite, call back all the light rays that have been sent out into the universe. Call them back into our lotus, into our heart, into the very center of the lotus, where sits yet another syllable, a symbol of this open-heartedness, the symbol Hri, H-R-I, a very small seed syllable in the very center of the lotus. All the light rays come back into that small center. And in an instant, the Hri dissolves. There is no thing that can be described. There is no thing whatsoever. No up, no down, no past, present, future. No right, no wrong, good, bad. Nothing that can be held onto. No thing that can be held onto. No thing to be controlled or manipulated in the hopes that we small manifestations have. Timeless, infinite, unbounded sky space. Called Dharmakaya aspect of heart. And we can rest here. Just allowing our awareness, our attention to rest there. That aspect of heart mind, which we might otherwise never notice. Again, as you do this on your own time, you may rest, of course, here for as long as it is freshly arising. For some of us, this aspect of heart-mind is the most peaceful, wonderful place to rest. Well, we've put those terms on it, no duality, so. But it may be experienced that way. For some of us, that total unbounded openness with no thing to hold on to at all can feel frightening. Please never forget that while one aspect may appeal to you to rest in a little more than the other aspects, the other kinds, there never is any separation between them. Thoughts, feelings, perceptions, the very display of dancing stillness, where no thing actually moves. That's not understandable in words or intellect. But we may find and rest there in that openness. Even our survival instinct, such a driving force in, if not all, most of the manifestations familiar to us. Even that is no thing other than dancing stillness. No need to get rid of thoughts, feelings, and perceptions. Only the releasing so they may dance freely, without contraction, without reactivity. But even then, if our awareness notices, nothing needs to be done, nothing needs to be changed. The dance itself is perfect, but not in the way we use the word. It is the dance of everything and no thing at all. And we are a part of that. You may notice, even as I said those words, it's all perfect. No, how could it be perfect when there's so much suffering and pain and meanness, nastiness, violence, anger? In and of itself, anger is a pure arising and dissolving. Notice possibly from here, if we don't hold and try to do something, grab what we like, push away what we don't like, it all just arises and dissolves naturally. Our suffering comes from trying to get what we want and get rid of what we don't want. Isn't that simple? when we could be resting in the utter open, unbounded refuge of the three kayas. How does that happen? We practice resting in those aspects that we tend to forget when we get tight and try to control it. Not with judgment. Habits of lifetimes after lifetimes, after waves after waves. The relaxing for me image is of the ocean. Always with movement, where actually very little moves. Tiny bit of movement, bumping a tiny bit of movement, bumping a tiny bit of movement. Ocean that fills everything. Must have space to exist. And yet waves arise. Sometimes big, fierce, violent waves. Sometimes smooth, gentle waves. The humor for me is, what if every wave tried to hold its form still to protect itself and be individual from every other wave? Well, that's us too. It's a lot of work. We want to be the perfect way. We want to be the kindest way. We want to be safe. It's a quote from Thich Nhat Hanh that I love. When a wave realizes it is water, that is enlightenment for a wave. Perhaps when we experience, not just intellectually understand, that we are the vast open spaciousness of Dharmakaya, the radiance, luminosity of aliveness. And the simple arising in this moment of a wave, never separate. Without the judgment of, come on, little wave, give it up. We're not all the same. We're not all different. We are all the same. We are all different. What a dance. It's another saying. Let the child luminosity, the spark of aliveness in each manifestation. Let the child luminosity unite with the mother luminosity. child luminosity is, when held, the source of absolute loneliness, isolation, despair. United with the mother luminosity, that is enlightened mind. One quick thing, and I think we've had enough words for today. A saying, another quotation. Everything is happening all the time. Everything is happening all at once. Dedication, when we're resting in the all of everything. Not really anything dedicating to anything. But when we have a glimpse of that openness, a moment of utter relaxation into it, as it, any moment of that may arise, may we not grasp it, hold on to it, try to make it be something other than just to let it organically shine out into the universe, touching all beings. Don't have to do that. It is that. You are that. May all beings have such opportunities to notice this. For God's sakes, may we sometime stop shooting each other, stop harming each other because of our original ignorance to think we are not connected. We are not all part together. Thank you all so much for being here today. Yeah.